I'm Alex Bell, getting to the point and digging deeper into local issues. And today we're talking about food banks because for some people, the pandemic may feel like it's over. But for our local food banks, the increased need for help is high, and it's still a big issue because emergency funding to help those food banks is now disappearing. I mean, take a look at this. One local food bank that serves Contra Costa and Solano counties, they tell us that they're serving 1 in 6 residents in their service area. A quarter of those served are children. The food bank says that they are seeing an unprecedented increased need in food insecurity, and typically they serve 178,000 people a month, some months even seeing as high as 300,000 people. So to get to the point, I sat down with Cassidy Bates with the food bank of Contra Costa and Solano to see how their food bank, how do they plan on continuing to feed so many people with a lot less money. So Cassidy, let's talk a little bit about state funding, because we know that during, COVID, you guys saw numbers increase in terms of how many people you're serving. And then you also saw, funding increasing. But now that COVID's over, all those numbers are starting to change. So you're seeing that funding going down, but the need is still there. I mean, how is your food bank, how are you still going to feed all these people?
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. You're exactly right. We did see record funding come towards the collective food bank network throughout the state of California in this last legislative cycle. And as that funding begins to sunset, as we move out of COVID, we really go back to our individual donors. Currently, as it stands, about 60% of our operating budget is from individual donors, so community members who give to their food bank. And we're so grateful to our donors, and that's really where we will continue to turn as a lot of the need continues to remain, and it will for years to come, and government funding simultaneously might dwindle.
And what is the reality of food insecurity in your area, and how has COVID really shifted that for you?
That's a great question, because food insecurity was definitely present prior to the COVID-19 pandemic, but the factors that really perpetuate and lead to food insecurity were really deepened throughout the pandemic. So prior to COVID, we had about 178,000 individuals we were serving every single month. And in addition to that, we're now serving about a 40% increase.
And how have supply chain issues and then inflation also impacted your guys' operations? I know you spoke earlier about gas, even getting gas in the trucks has been an issue.
Yeah, absolutely. So just as it's impacting, everyone in the community, inflation, supply chain, increased gas prices, it's affecting our clients, especially those who are in some of our more vulnerable demographics. A lot of individuals can't afford the same food items if those food items are increased in price by 10%, say. It also is increasing our cost of doing business. As you mentioned, we are exceeding our gasoline budget, and we're not even all the way through this fiscal year. So just our cost of doing business is heightened, and the burden on our clients to put food on the table and meet their other basic needs is affected as well.
Yeah, and what needs are you anticipating to serve as we continue through the years after COVID?
Yeah, that's a really great question. I'm glad you brought it up, because we are anticipating this increased need that we have begun serving throughout the pandemic to be our new baseline for years to come. So we are not anticipating a return to pre-COVID numbers, at least for the next 2 to 5 years. So this new baseline, we are intending to serve it for years to come.
And what are some long-term solutions that you guys are looking at to continue to feed people?
Yeah, well, there's a few ways to answer that. One is that we really are looking to our advocacy and how we can work together with community members with lived experience, our elected officials, whether that's on the county, state, or national levels, to really create systems change. How can we look at the root causes of food insecurity in our region? Why is it happening? And how can we really enhance our social safety net programs to both meet folks where they're at and do even better at preventing individuals from falling into food insecurity? We're also looking at, unfortunately, California has a wildfire season every single year. And when that happens, we do serve, a lot of our partners up in the North State and folks more locally who are impacted by wildfires. So looking at how we can best be there in those times of emergency as well.
This is a story that we are continuing to follow, and if you want to help or donate to one of our local food banks, we have a links on abc10.com/links that you can follow.